Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Two and Love, here at the AEW Dynamite review for June 26, 2021. Um, this is my first time in a long time, in a while, certainly, since I've done a review on Sunday. And I apologize. The last couple episodes, I didn't put out the awareness that with AEW Dynamite last time being presented for a while, hopefully for a while, was last night, Saturday. So here I am on Sunday giving the last review for a while as far as a pre-empted Dynamite. Now, Dynamite, of course, returns. Excuse me. Um, it returns for Wednesday, this Wednesday. So I'll be back with your usual Thursday reviews. Uh, of course, sports review topics on Tuesday, but getting that out of the way with the schedule. So gonna be a little tighter for this week, considering the review today. Sports review topics on Tuesday and AEW on Thursday. So, but with that, um, thank you for joining me. The show last night was solid. Uh, Definitely the build around it was the main event between Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy, the World Heavyweight Championship match that has been built up for the last few weeks. Of course, Jungle Boy won the Casino Battle Royal at Double or Nothing and does earn the right for this championship match. But all in all, the rest of the show flowed kind of well. We had the confrontation between Tully Blanchard and Konnan, which was a really interesting light of the show and continuing that build between FTR and Santana Ortiz. We also had a pretty good match also between Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. And we got kind of a seed planted um, of where Andrade Del Idolo's first feud or first match could wind up being in AEW. So that was a nice, interesting touch. So if you like this video, at the end or now, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. If you're new um, on the channel, as far as reviews are concerned or sports topics. But thank you. And now let's get into the review, shall we? After that decent opening, I would say. So the show started off with Sammy Guevara getting attacked uh, by Sean Spears while he was trying to get interviewed by Alex Marvez uh, outside the building, the interview's place. And simple but surely, Sean Spears attacks Sammy Guevara with chair, courtesy of MJF. So, and that wouldn't be the last time we saw either of these two in the show. So, then the first match of the night came with Powerhouse Hobbs versus Hangman Adam Page. This is good opening match. Powerhouse Hobbs, he is getting into that ascension, getting little by little better with the weeks come, and we know his look. We know he's paired with Taz, Team Taz, And it's good to see him get better and better, which we saw with this match against Hangman, who is one of the best in AEW. So, most of this match was Hobbs focusing on Hangman's right arm, his arm, of course, the buckshot lariat. So, later in the match, after he was thrown into the ring post, which kinda eased the advantage for Page, but so, excuse me. So, Hangman, he had moonsault on Hobbs for 2 count, and so Team Taz, more theatrics of Team Taz. I think it's safe to say that they're in a ruckus and they're on the way to blows, at least as far as Brian Cage. So Ricky Starks and Hook, they came out with Brian Cage's FTW championship, and they were going to give it to Hobbs to use while the referee was distracted, that he would use the championship for the win. But Brian Cage then came out, took back his FTW championship, and tried to go after Ricky Starks, but Ricky hightailed it, and again, pointing to his injured neck. I mean, it's good that despite his neck injury, we're still seeing Ricky Starks on TV. I just am a little, now again, it's still the preempted shows, but I'm just still a little annoyed that we're still seeing these theatrics with Team Taz. And, I mean, it's just. Now, Hook, he's still obviously in development, and he still probably has a way to go as far as getting in the ring. And it's just with Stark's injury, it's kind of taken him back as far as Team Taz, because, Cage, he seems to be going away from Team Taz, and Hobbs, he's pretty much the only one that can get in the ring now, as far as Team Taz. So it's kind of put them on ice, I would say. But so after that theatric, Hangman went for the buckshot lariat, but countered into a beautiful spinebuster by Powerhouse Hobbs, Will Hobbs, whichever. But beautiful spinebuster by Hobbs for a near fall. Then eventually Hangman got the Deadeye to connect on Hobbs for the win. Heck of a match, open show, and again, more dissension pretty much as far as the team has. So then, a pretty good segment, I would say, between Tully Blanchard, Konnan, and FTR. So, now I missed some of this segment, but luckily I was able to go back and watch it. But Tony Schiavone was out there interviewing Tully Blanchard and there was Konnan. He came out and they had a war of words. Konnan, he spoke the majority and a heck of a promo. He gets so cut as age. So Konnan talked about how the differences in Santana Ortiz, FTR, talk about their growings of Santana Ortiz, how being beaten up, left for dead, and yet they're still here. And Konnan talked about how when Santana's father passed away, he called Konnan and to have that brother in and said some stuff in Spanish. And an interesting line Konnan said is, you should look more into Spanish because eventually you're going to have to talk to your grandchildren. Hence, I think Tessa Blanchard's husband, although I think that's where it came from, but yeah, that's interesting. So then Tully took the microphone and said he's very no Spanish, and Tony Schiavone was trying his best to not laugh. You could tell he was holding his face, trying to make sure he didn't laugh, because that was pretty unexpected. So then Konnan talked about how Tully's always one step ahead with the mind games, and so Konnan called out Santana Ortiz. So then I'm like, So two guys come out with hoodies and bandanas. I mean, right off the bat, I'm like looking at the stage, and I can tell, yeah, this isn't right. So then I can tell, okay, it's FTR, and then so these guys get in the ring, and Tully Blanchard, he says, look at the big screen, and it shows Santana Ortiz beaten up in the backstage area. So then, all of a sudden, FTR, they take off these bandanas and they attack Konnan, and they deliver a spike pile driver to Konnan and to some glorious boos in the crowd, the live crowd at Daly's place. But a heck of a segment, and again, more build after that great video package. This match is going to be so fun. I mean, I'm not as intrigued for this match as we were intrigued for FTR versus Young Bucks, considering all the years of build-up and what if, but I'm very hyped up for this match. It should be a hell of a match, and when it happens, it's going to blow the roof off, I would say. So then we had, as I mentioned, with a seed planted for Andrade Del Idolo's first feud. So we had Dante Martin come out to face Matt Sydal. And again, Dante's brother Darius, I'm guessing, is still injured. So he's still going out alone. But first Matt Sydal here. This was a pretty good match as well on the show. Good showcase for Dante Martin. Of course, we know Sydal is a very good professional wrestler, but what was interesting was Dante, he was making his entrance, and then Vicky Guerrero, she came out with her usual excuse me, ay. So she introduced Andrade Del Idolo. He came out with some, I wasn't really paying attention to the theme music. I have to listen to it again, but she introduced Andrade. He came out looking like $1,000,000. So, and then they were interrupted by Matt Sydal, who came out for his match with Darius Martin Dante. I mentioned Darius. Now I have two confused, but Dante, and we saw a little back and forth exchange between Andrade and Matt Sydal. So we're gonna get Andrade versus Matt Sydal in the future. When? I don't know, but it should be a heck of a first feud for Andrade Del Idolo. So this match again was pretty good, another solid part of the show. Was a diving Meteora by Sydal for a near fall. A very good sunset flip. With the sun and everything, it just looked very good. Sunset flip by Dante. Then a flipping stunner by Dante for a near fall. And then in the end, with a kick to back of the head and then lightning spiral by Sydal for the win. Heck of a match. Again, this match was basically to get Sydal shine and momentum, so that way when he faces Andrade, that only helps him more. But overall solid match, good showing for Dante as well. So then we had MJF, Shawn Spears, and Wardlow backstage in an interview. So Marvez, he was about to ask MJF a question, but then MJF's like, "Oh, these people don't tune in to watch you. They tune in to watch me." So MJF, he took the microphone, talked about why he doesn't get the backlash he's got for what he did to Dean Malenko last week. So he ran down Malenko, talking about, he's very old and this dangerous wrestling business. He ran down that, yes, he has Parkinson's disease, yes, the injuries he suffered, but MJF says he afforded Malenko something that many people wish they could get. and that was an early retirement. So then after that, Jake Hager, Chris Jericho, Ambush, MJF, Spears, and Wardlow, and they started brawling. They brought into the ring, into the arena, and then all of a sudden, Sammy Guevara comes out, and MJF and Wardlow hightail it, and so Sammy Guevara said, "So MJF, I'm gonna prove that this company chose the wrong guy. That they chose the wrong guy to put on the posters, on the action figures, etc., etc." And he said, "Well, MJF, you like to say you're better than you and you know it." And then Sammy Guevara said, "Well, guess what, bitch? He's gonna show that he's the best ever on Wednesday, and he knows it." So this match Wednesday is gonna be very interesting. MJF, Sammy Guevara. I mean, again, the future of AEW. MJF, Sammy Guevara. That's gonna be a heck of a match. Well-deserved main event of Dynamite. And just can't say enough. And also, it's interesting. I mean, it's just interesting to see the growth. I mean, watching Double or Nothing in 2019, their first pay-per-view of AEW, and it was MJF, Hangman Page, the final two of the Casino Battle Royal on the pre-show to determine who would face for the AEW World Championship. The first, and Sammy Guevara, he was the opening match versus Kip Sabian. That is truly just shows you the growth. They go from those matches to now. It's just great to see. So then we go to Ethan Page, All Ego, versus Bear Bronson of Bear Country. This match was quality. It was a little, was okay. Some of the aspects I didn't like as far as the parts outside the ring with Boulder and Scorpio Sky, but all in all was an okay match. Mostly a prelude to what happened after the match. So Ethan Page, he kept trying to go for the Eagle's Edge on Bronson, but Bronson, the big guy, hard to lift him up. So Bronson hit so-and-so Suicida, And then a Sydal almost sky high spine buster. Then Page followed up with a superplex for a near fall, which almost looked ugly because, well, the big guy and Ethan Page, I guess the timing was just a little off. Bronson, he had Big Boss Man Slam for a near fall. And then while the referee was distracted with the theatrics with Scorpio Sky and Boulder, and Bronson went for a Vader bomb, it looked like. And Ethan Page, he landed a low blow. And then finally got Bronson up for the Eagle's Edge. Hit beautifully and for the win. Afterwards, Ethan Page, he took the microphone, talked about how he's not stupid, that Darby Allin's not done with him. He's just not done with him after pinning him in the handicap match. And how he said weeks ago that he's going to be the nail in Darby's coffin. So he's reiterated it a few times. And then he figured, well, why not he puts him in one? So he challenged Darby Allin to a coffin match. July 7th, their first time back on the road. Darby Allin, Ethan Page, a coffin match. I'm all for it. Should be a heck of a match. Darby Allin and Ethan Page, we know, have history on the Indies. Should be fun. So then we had Kris Statlander versus the Bunny, Allie. This was okay. I mean, Statlander, she was with Orange Cassidy. Bunny, she was with her husband, aka The Blade. I mean, the more I see Blade, the more I get a little annoyed because I know they've probably wrestled a number of times on Elevation and Dark, but I miss seeing Butcher and the Blade. How they were a heck of a tag team, and now with the Hardy Family Office, they've kind of dimmed down instead of when they were with Eddie Kingston. So, but nonetheless, this match was okay. Statlander, she landed a Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall. Ali followed up with some offense, landed a super kick for the 2 count. And then Blade was at ringside. He tried to toss Bunny, aka Ali, some brass knuckles, and Orange Cassidy, a kind of stupid move. She took the brass knuckles, put them high in the air, which allowed Orange Cassidy to slide in, put them in his pockets for his usual devastating, quote, super kicks, I would say, but he didn't do them. So then, Statlander followed up with the Big Bang Theory pile driver for the win. Afterwards, the Blade followed up, attacked Orange Cassidy, and looks like we may get a match between Blade and Orange Cassidy, I assume. They also talked about how Trent, or I'm not sure if it's Trent or Chuck Taylor, well, one of them is undergoing surgery. So, again, it's unfortunate because for the best friends, because Trent, it's been a couple weeks, but still, Trent came off that devastating injury that's hid on him for months. And now this, I get it, they're not the best tag team, but they are a good tag team. They are a good piece, that tag team division. And again, one of them is injured. Just unfortunate. Now, I know they haven't been doing much with being paired with Statlander and Orange Cassidy the last few weeks, but it's unfortunate. So, yeah. So now the main event. This was absolutely just great. Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega. Not much you can say. After weeks of build, you are curious though with the way Christian Cage has befriended Jungle Boy, and just with how they've been building up Jungle Boy, what do we get in interference? That was not the case, but it was still a damn good match. Damn good match. So, Jungle Boy, he came out with Jurassic Express. Omega, he came out with the Good Brothers. Excuse me. Both Jurassic Express and the Good Brothers were ejected. So, leaving this one on one. So, Jungle Boy, he got the early advantage, and taking it to Omega. His family was there. You can tell they were on their edges seats. And how over he has been. That theme music has really helped Jungle Boy, I would say. So, was a brainbuster by Jungle Boy, a DT, and a Suicida really taking it to Omega. Then later in the match, Omega followed up with a Snapdragon suplex and a V-trigger. He went for the one-wing angel, but was countered into a poison Rana. Then a sliding strike by Jungle Boy for a near fall. Omega followed up with a powerbomb V-trigger combination for a 2 count. Then Omega found himself into the snare trap by Jungle Boy, but Omega got to the ropes. Jurassic Express and Frankie Kazarian, they thwarted an interference by the Good Brothers, so they were run to the back. Omega then followed up with a brainbuster of his own for a near fall. Then, once again, Omega was in the snare trap, but once again, Omega wrenched at Jungle Boy's eyes and the hair of Jungle Boy to get out the submission hold. They were fighting up on the turnbuckle. So, just one instance. Jungle Boy, he went for a top rope hurricanrana, but was countered and dropped on the top turnbuckle. Then Omega followed up with another V-trigger. The Tiger Driver 98, but Jungle Boy still kicked out. So Omega, frustrated, didn't waste any time. Got Jungle Boy up for the one-winged angel. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Omega retains in a damn good match to end the show. Now, again, so after match, Omega seemed like he was gonna level Christian Cage, seemed like he was gonna level Jungle Boy with the title, but Christian came out for a save, and then Matt Hardy came out and they started brawling, and then Young Bucks landed a super kick party on Christian Cage. And Matt Hardy landed a twist of fate on Christian Cage. And Matt Hardy, the Hardy family office, Omega, the Young Bucks stand tall as the show goes off the air. No interference, no heel turn. I mean, so first off, the match. I mean, makes sense. I mean, yes, they've been building up Jungle Boy a lot over the last number of weeks, but at the same time, you want Omega to keep looking like a credible champion. And Omega winning clean only solidifies it more. And that is credible. Now I get it. Jungle Boy, with the way he's been built up, but against Kenny Omega, it wouldn't be right, really, because you knew he wasn't going to win. Again, he's still very young, and he's only... It's just amazing, really. You know he's going to be a champion in the future. Just patience, due time, it will happen. But can't complain about the end of the show. It was really fun. The theatrics after match, so they're still building this Christian Cage Matt Hardy feud. We're gonna get a match in the future. I mean, I don't really mind it. I mean, yes, Christian's debut into the company was botched, and they want him to be at a certain level, but he's not at it. And he maybe will in the future, but we'll see in due time. Overall, solid match and the show. Fun show to end the pre-empted month of Dynamite. And Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's the end of the review. If you did, like and subscribe if you want to see the other videos I make, as well as notification bell to stay up with the notifications of when my videos come out. There's that. I'll be back Tuesday with sports review topics, and of course on Thursday, back on Thursdays again with AEW reviews. Thank you. Have a blast. Be safe and peace.